But anyway, I'm going to go to Mont Blanc and pick up my clan reward. He might also have some additional rewards for me now that I've beaten the bosses in Giravegan. Yeah, High Guardian, we're actually ahead of that already. Imperial Soul. And 2 Mega Elixirs, that's great. Yep, Rafflesia, so yeah, we're going to get all of our rewards from the Giravegan bosses. Another one for Daedalus. And Tyrant. Mont Blanc himself giving us that one. And we now command 8 Espers too. Another poem from the poet. Nugget of Gemsteel. Oh, this one! Yeah, this one is a very, very important hunt as well. This one, remember how, a long time ago, when we were going through the, Narmiensa Sand Sea for the first time, I said that there was one hunt that required you to access that area that, was only accessible via the Zertinan Caverns? Well, this is that hunt. There've been great torrents of sand into the air. And yes, I already mentioned that. You need to go through the Zertinan Caverns. Belito. And a number of incidents of hunters being attacked while out in the fields. Okay, so we might want to watch out for Monid. Seems like that guy might actually be a serial killer. No pressure or anything. Nothing to be afraid of. Just gotta watch our backs out on this hunt. So what's new here with our new rank? Oh, actually no. Wait, we already got wing boots. I guess we can buy those now. Float, that's pretty nice. Basically makes you immune to traps. However, it also, you know, takes up your accessory slot. Ether. And finally, we can buy Reverse. One foe, but it's technically a lot more useful used on allies. Because, yeah, as long as the enemy has no healing, Reverse basically makes your allies invincible. You do have to be aware, though, that it is considered a negative status, so having Shell is going to reduce the chances of it working, just like Berserk. And also, what is it, like, that accessory, I've already forgotten the name, that makes your status spells always hit. That can also be helpful to make sure you land Reverse on your allies. You just have to make sure to turn off any gambits that involve healing your allies, but yeah, as long as you're fighting something that doesn't have healing, they're essentially invincible. I didn't want to spoil this, but it's probably going to be a long time before I reach Trial Mode Stage 100, but Trial Mode Stage 100, though, does have kind of a funny answer to that. It's actually programmed to throw X potions and elixirs at you if you use Reverse, so they're wise, that tactic. So originally, I was going to end things here and head out to the next stage of the story. However, I really want to take on a Dark Rumor now. So I will see you for that next time. Information is sparse in Mont Blanc once you investigate. Why is it still pointing me to Mont Blanc and Rabanastre? I thought I already accepted that. Oh, I didn't even notice this guy before, so he actually also never realized that this is an open window. But he gives you information about where to find particular... I know of no rank higher. Well, there is a rank higher, but it requires you to complete the entire Sky Pirate's Den, which also requires you to beat every super boss and stuff. Yeah. There are ranks that he doesn't know, but yeah, he'll tell you how to find certain hunts that only spawn in particular weather conditions. Yes, he seems very, very suspicious. Yes, I hate to doubt anyone, but it's always Monid who's the one who isn't here. I think this is the closest warp to where we need to go. I just need to get into the caverns. And then through the caverns, we need to head up that part of the, Namienta Sansi. Okay, which Okiagensa Sansi exit is that? It's that one. Okay, I guess I'll have to run all the way over there, and that will mean probably a whole ton of Urutan Yensa will die without me even trying, thanks to all of our gambits. Just for fun, this is Wind Element, which all of the Urutan Yensa are weak to, so I just want to see how much damage Varn does with this. 6,000! Elemental weaknesses, I find, like, maybe that's part of why Black Mage is so good in this game. I feel like the multiplier on elemental weaknesses is very generous. Oh, right, that's weak to water, though. Speaking of elemental weaknesses. Well, we're gonna run past it anyway, and we're probably gonna trip it with Holy, so... Okay, I'm pretty sure the only reason that's said immune there is because it's immune to all elements beside its weakness, so I should maybe equip a standard physical weapon and see if I do any better. Yeah, I do some damage with that. So this is why you really don't want to, aggro this thing, early on in the game, because it's, it has Fire Arga. Redas, I think you'll be the one to cure silence here. Yeah, I've equipped Ash with the accessory to make her immune to, silence, and it looks like Ash really isn't gonna be doing that much to it. Scathe is super expensive. How about Shock? Let's see how much damage she does with Shock. Maybe it's times like this when non-elemental magics are... As you can see though, Shock actually does charge up a lot slower than most other spells. It is a way for her to do non-elemental magic damage though. But as I was like saying before about elemental weaknesses, Fear. Huh. Varn loses a massive amount of MP, okay then. But yeah, as I was saying, elemental weaknesses are really the main bread and butter of Ash's damage. That and being buffed by, the staves that increase elemental damage. Oh yeah, Redas is coded to use Echo Hers, but only outside of battle right now. Maybe I should change that. I mean, we haven't really encountered that many enemies who use Silence, though. Anyway, I wanted to defeat one of those Entites on screen at least once, because they're a huge threat earlier in the game, and now we're finally strong enough to really fight them. But yeah, Shock was doing like, what, 2,000 or something? That's very low damage by Ash's standards for this point in the game, so I'm a little bit disappointed in that. Scourge would definitely do more, but Scourge is also, well, very long animation and also costs a ton of MP. And now we are in this lone platform. And I am going to start buffing here. So if we go here, it looks like there's Monid.
So we've drawn you out at last. A moth cannot resist the flame. Now you will burn. Long time no see, Balthier. I've been biding my time trolling for hunters. So long you've kept me waiting. I was beginning to think you didn't care.
You are looking rather careworn. Are the lizards in the sandpits not company enough for you?
My blade requires a sharper tongue to keep its edge.
So, yep, this entire hunt was a trap all along. You didn't think that we'd go the whole game without seeing this guy again, did you? It is a little bit disappointing that this subplot is resolved in an optional side quest and not as part of the main game, but with the direction the story took, it's, you know, not like that they could really fit Bagamnan in anywhere else. But yes, we are finally getting to take this guy down, for real. And I'm obviously going to be using, Balthier, Fran, and Penelo, so Penelo can get revenge on the guy who kidnapped her. I think I'm going to first have her just dispel everyone, though, because all of these guys have a ton of buffs on them. So I have Bagamnan, we have Wagi, but you might actually know something. If you go to Allies, Monid. Monid is actually not one of them. That's interesting to think about for now. Because the whole time... Okay, yep, there's more of them. I knew Bagamnan had more allies. I want to kind of focus down on... Oh, nope, that guy's already down. So we've got Gjuk and Renok. I know one of them is more of a defensive attacker. Forget if Protect affects gun damage or not. Maybe not so much. I sort of want to focus them down one at a time here. Okay, yeah, one of them seems to be more of a mage. This is getting a bit chaotic, but yeah, Bagamnan clearly has the most health here, so I'm going to leave him for last. And you're also hasted. Let's get rid of that. I'm thinking of maybe changing people's gambits to faux party leader's target, possibly. Mixing up Esuna and Dispel, that is kind of dumb. But yeah, they just keep buffing. Okay, who's on... You're currently on Party Leader's Target Attack. Penelo's also on Party Leader's Target Attack. Okay, so as long as Balthier targets that one, they should be going for it. Okay, Balthier was super weakened there for a second, but he's, things are, turning around thanks to our healing. Shining Ray. Okay, that is looks like a very strong AoE attack, and immune. Did you just suddenly put up a barrier or something? Okay, nope, you're down. Okay, so now it's just Bagamnan, who has Protect and Shell at the moment. So once again, Penelo will go ahead and dispel that. They seem to really like buffing themselves. I could try summoning an Esper on this guy, but at the same time, I just want to eviscerate her. I want to finish this guy off with Balthier's Quickening if I can, because that would just be really fitting. Now that he's alone, he shouldn't last very long. I actually forget what level he is. Okay, yeah, he is low enough that I'm going to go straight for Element of Treachery. A little ironic coming from, I mean, you know, Bagamnan's kind of really the Element of Treachery here. But this is extremely satisfying. Yeah, this hunt was always really memorable to me because, yeah, the whole thing was actually a trap. That Belito we were asked to hunt doesn't exist. It was all just a bait.
Here goes.
This is one of the most satisfying quickening chains I've ever done, because not only did Balthier get to use 2 elements of treachery, Penelo got to wail on him as well. Very, very fitting.
Here she comes.
Oh wow, it's been ages since we last saw Inferno. This is the one you get so much at the beginning of the game, but not as much later on when you unlock more quickenings. He actually survived that, just barely. Balthia's trying to poach him. Well, that was a Disney villain death. Oh yeah, we do get the congratulations screen, because that was like a proper boss fight, not even technically a hunt. So, okay, spoiler alert, he's actually not dead. He does show up in Revenant Wings. So, yeah. Nemeses are very, very hard to kill. Even if they fall off a bridge into quicksand and sharks start attacking them. Nothing will keep a good nemesis down. So yeah, the reason why he was attacking hunters is he probably heard about us doing all of the Clan Centurio hunts and realized that was the best way to lure out Balthia. Also, Monad was not one of his. Monad was a good guy all along. I guess to deceive your enemies, you have to deceive your friends. And this is another reason why I really love this, the plot of this hunt, because yes, the whole thing was a ruse, but it was a trap, but we weren't the ones who were being lured in. Montblanc himself set up the fake Bolito hunt to lure out Bagamnon. Yeah, you have to have beaten the Trickster first for this. And yeah, this is one of the most isolated places out there, only accessible through the certain caverns too. You have to be pretty strong to even reach this place. Well, yeah, you don't know our history with that guy. Ah. Well, at least we get to settle the score. Yeah, no, obviously we still get a reward. I mean, yeah, technically speaking, this probably wasn't, like, entirely legal clan-wise, but hey, it lured out somebody who was essentially a serial killer. Like, it's heavily implied that Bagamnon had killed a whole lot of hunters trying to get to us, so... well, at least we put that down before anyone else could get hurt. But again, like I said, Bagamnon's... For all they knew, the writers probably intended to kill him off here, but they brought him back in Revenant Wings anyway. I don't want to spoil what his role is in Revenant Wings, though. I don't know if I ever will play Revenant Wings 1. Like, it's been ages since I last played that, and it is the kind of game I'd probably prefer to do a more research series on, just because of how obscure it is. Yep, guns are not good against Flans, as always. And, like, it's not the most... So, the issue is that it's not, like, the most amazing game that I've ever played, really. Like, it's not horrible or anything, and it actually does feel pretty good visiting all of the places that, like, it is a direct sequel to this game, and you get to see a lot of the same characters again, and many of the same locations, too. And it expands on the lore of Ivalice a little bit, and a lot of people really, like, even the people who don't particularly care for this game that much tend to like Ivalice as a setting. It's generally one of the more fleshed out settings in many of the... I mean, you know, I guess, you know, that's probably going to upset a lot of other fans who really like the... What's the world of Final Fantasy VII called? Speaking of upsetting other Final Fantasy fans. Because I know about Spira in 10, but, like, yeah, I most of my experience is pretty much confined to the later Final Fantasy games. The earliest that I've really properly played is 10. I played a bit of 8, but then I stopped. What the heck, let's just bring out Save the Queen for this. I mean, there are some... It's kind of funny how different games have different, like... I know there are some RPGs where slashing weapons are effective against enemies with slimy bodies, but there are others where slime-type enemies are very resistant to slashing weapons. It always varies, but them being, like, virtually immune to bullets makes sense. You wouldn't expect bullets to do very much to a slime creature. Did I just get a teleport stone from a frog? That's weird. Okay, so I actually decided to do something here. Since it's probably a bit too late to do main story in this part, I wanted to try and take on another hunt, and I just realized that I could take on Carrot because that's another one of the Mont Blanc elite marks. The petitioner for this is in the Nalbina Aerodrome. It's, Zamadria. So, your pet is something that likes to devour people. Okay, then. Yes, we must slay this beast so that, you know, you never get tied to it and you don't get punished. Because, again, the whims of pretentious rich people. So, timid as a mouse. Well, yeah, she's explaining it right there. You actually have to go through the entire Salika Wood without killing any enemies in order to make Carrot spawn. Which I think is easier if you just teleport in there with a teleport stone, because that means you only have a very small area of the Salika Wood to go through. And yeah, here's what happened. Like, here's how you get out of the aerodrome. This stumped me for a little bit, actually. I don't think you ever need to go into the Nalbina Fortress aerodrome, so it's not extremely important that you know how to get out of there, but just in case you end up there, like, you know, for the Carrot hunt, then knowing how to get out like that is important. Back in the peaceful Salika Wood again, and I am turning off everybody's gambits. That means you too, Redis. Okay, it's down there. Yeah, I said all the way back when I first went through this place that I deliberately didn't accept the Carrot hunt because I didn't want Carrot showing up while I was, exploring this area for the first time, but there's not really much chance of that happening unless you know, deliberately go out of your way to avoid killing enemies, and I wouldn't have done that anyway. But yeah, the enemies here are fairly weak for this point. It shouldn't be too much hassle to, you know, run past them. As long as they don't end up bad breathing us. Because I think once you get into this area, there should be no other enemies besides Carrot. Oh, okay, we've got you on our side. I believe you're the sister of the one that we were helping. Yes, this thing is absolutely not docile at all. Oh, and there actually are things. Is she going to kill them and make it... Oh, they're passive though, so she's not going to attack them on sight or anything. Just kind of worried about having this thing ruined by an NPC. Now, if I'm remembering right, I don't think it starts on the map. I think it jumps out and ambushes you later. Okay then, in that case, I probably want to be buffed, and something else that's very, very important in this fight is to set your gambits to use remedies. Oh, Redis only has the bare minimum remedy laws, I was wondering about that. Okay, Varn and Bolthea are the only two who have remedy law 3, and for that reason, I'm going to be using both of them in this party. Oh, I do see the big icon on the map though. So, yes. As it turns out, Carrot is, in fact, a really, really big Malboro. And why do I keep targeting weird hairs? Yep, there is Carrot. No status ailments, but I think it uses Heroes... Yep, there's Heroes March. Okay, preemptively dispelling that. Yeah, I was pretty much positive that it used Heroes March, and you don't want a Malboro with Heroes March. So also, what's interesting is that Carrot is in fact an undead Malboro. So using X potions with high amounts of potion laws is pretty effective, and yeah, it looks pretty horrifying as well. Fran has all 3 potion laws. What kind of cure spells does she have? She has Curaga. How much does Curaga do to it? I hope I'm right about this thing being undead. Okay, yeah, Curaga does quite a lot. I'm gonna change up Fran's gambits in that case. I would use X potions, but that would run through our resources pretty quickly. Oh yes, it can also use Growing Threat to double its own level. And in fact, on that note, I kind of want to try something. This might not be the best idea in the world. But I sort of want to try this. So, is Bolthia licensed for Euclid Sextant yet? Which is like, as far as, it's all the way, yeah, it's down there. I can easily get that. That's the kind of name that would make immature people giggle. Maybe I did back when I first played this, because I would have been like 15 or something. But I am gonna try something. So we need to make sure that we're not targeting an enemy with this, because, well, I mean, it's probably immune to bubble anyway, but I go attack, allies, not allies, party. I keep thinking that espers are allies, but let's go ahead and smack Exodus with this. Yep, that gives him bubble status. Oh, there's Putrid Breath. That's not good. Bolthia is about to be status into Oblivion. Before that can happen, let's re-equip an actual normal weapon on Bolthia. And yeah, Common is doing a lot with bubble. So that Euclid Sextant Exodus combo is really nice. Yes. Self-aware NPCs. You gave me very little opportunity to do anything. Because, you know, if the players do their job, then NPCs hopefully won't be able to do all that much. Do you like how this game makes a distinction between guest party members and NPCs, though? So, I just kind of want to try... I'm so sorry, Weird Hair. Which I used to call Wild Hair. Oh wow, that did, like, nothing. Yeah, very low roll there. I got kind of lucky against Carrot, but that's sort of how things work when you do randomized damage. But yeah, again, based on HP, oh, there's 3 of you. I'm just gonna... Let me just try this. Actually, I don't think this one even is based on max HP. I think it just does up to 30,000. Yeah, one of them took the full hit of it, and then the other 2 took way less, but still enough to one-shot them. So the actual reason why I wanted to fight Carrot now is because I wanted to see something. No, I don't think... Okay, yeah, I was wondering if Redus had any special comments if you brought him to the Nebreus Deadlands. He doesn't seem to. I'm not going to fully explore this place yet, I just want to see what's through here. Oh, there is a save crystal. And now this is really strange. This is, I think, the area that Ash was looking out over in that one cutscene much earlier in the game where Vaan showed up, but clearly Vaan couldn't have been there and Ash couldn't have been there either. So that whole scene was probably just an illusory dream by the Ecuria. So yes, that's a quest that we'll take on later once we actually go to Nabudis, but this is our view of the Nebreus Deadlands. It's a very, very desolate place, and it just shows the kind of things that Nethersite does if it's used for war, and we're desperately trying to prevent Ash from following that path. So we've slain your pet, but I have to ask the question, what kind of person has an undead Malboro for a pet you didn't even know? Okay, then. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you adopt a, something that you just find out in the streets, and don't even know what it is. Yeah, he seems to have some issues with us. From Rabanasta. Okay, then. Well, I mean, yeah, it was certainly pretty tough. It could double its level and give itself every single buff. Yes, it shouldn't bother him at all. That is kind of an amusing, and we also get stink bombs, which inflict sap, I think, which can be kind of nice sometimes. And putrid liquid. But yes, the Carrot Quest is a reference to Final Fantasy Tactics. There's also a Malboro pet named Carrot in that game, I believe. A reference that goes over my head since I never played those games. But anyway, I'm going to end things off here by spending a whole lot of LP because we have so much of it right now. I probably should have spent this way earlier, but we'll see. Yeah, I was actually going to continue up into here, because then we can equip some much better shields on Varn, as well as some pretty good light armor. Oh, and there's Will Crossblade, which we have. That was one of the things that we found in the, and the Renewing Morion. Another thing that we found in the very, very bad part of the Lusu Mines. Dueling Mask and Brave Suit, and then this thing, yeah, the Nina, I believe, is the one that actually drops from that rare game that is in the Great Crystal that's almost impossible to spawn, so, yeah. Oh, I was like, why am I missing that? And I was like, oh, right, it's First Aid. First Aid is just not good at all. Probably need to focus more on Bushi for Varn later, but okay, I got that with Mechanist on Bolthia. Yeah, numerology is pretty bad overall. Not really sure I need more Gambit slots. I could always do with more accessories, though. Because he's actually advanced decently far into Knight anyway, but... maybe Shield Block and some Battle Laws might be useful. The Karkata, I think that's the stronger version of the Blood Sword. A lot of them require, annoying, bizarre recipes. Oh, speaking of annoying, bizarre recipes... I mean, I guess before I talk about that, I should also mention, you can technically have the Genji gloves now. It's available from the Ancient Man of Mystery, and the first encounter with him is doable at this point in the game, definitely. The second, not so much, but the first is, and you can get the Genji gloves off of him there. The Genji gloves increase the chances of combo attacks, and they are considered one of the best accessories in the game, though mostly in the original version. Now, I realized while I was fighting Carrot that Fran actually needs more Gambit slots, because I need to be able to fit Gambits like using healing on Undead and other things like that. So let's fill out those. Then we also have... I suppose Focus can be okay for bows. More HP is always nice. Travel is not that necessary to somebody who has magic. Oh, I suppose I can get that since I have access to HP 11 from another job, and I guess I can get that. So yeah, Fran just suddenly gained a whole lot of HP. How much does she have now? Yeah, it's a bit more than she had before. I think maybe like 1,000 or so more. But yeah, what I was saying about the annoying, bizarre recipe, that thing that we fought last part, it should be Death Gaze. I should have tried to steal from Death Gaze. Death Gaze, its steal item is Emperor Scale. Emperor Scale is required to make the best gun in the game in the Bazaar, and the only other way to get the Emperor Scale is from Archaeo Avis. You know, that enemy in the Zertanen Caverns that can be up to level 99. Bash might actually have all of the accessory laws now, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So I might have screwed myself a little bit in that regard. I kind of doubt I'm going to get it, like, use that gun before the end of the game anyway, so I'm not too worried, but it's still a little bit annoying. So the annoying thing as well about that mark is that... what do I... Actually, maybe Ash could use a few extra Gambit slots too. Is that its physical paling makes it immune to steel. So from what I've heard, how you deal with that is you... Obviously going to get less MP cost on Ash. You inflict it, I think, with Sap, which it's vulnerable to, and then run away. When it's not in battle, it will cast like a full HP and status heal on itself, and when it does that, it will drop its paling. So when it does that, that's your chance to run back in and just spam steel and hope to get an Emperor scale. It's not like the most reliable thing in the world, but it's you know, it's a possible tactic that you can use, and it's probably, in Zodiac Age at least, the easiest way to get Emperor scales. Can't believe you didn't have Serenity yet. I guess I could take Raviga. So, as I may have mentioned before, gravity spells in FF12 are based on the enemy's max HP, not current HP. So, they actually are very useful things, because they can kill enemies, unlike in a lot of Final Fantasy games where they can't. I remember gravity being decent in Kingdom Hearts 1 against behemoths, but other than that, it's just usually not that useful, because everything that you'd want to use it on is immune to it. The white mask and white robes, I think, are considered very good, because I do think they buff the power of Holy, which late game can be quite a decent spell option for white mages, and especially if you can get access to it via black mage. So anyway, with all of that side stuff out of the way... Oh yeah, do we get something new in here? Yes, Carrot. Carrot's worth... That's not Carrot. Carrot is worth a Sky Pirate's Den achievement, which gives us the title of Fresh Maker. This place is definitely filling up. It starts filling up exponentially faster later in the game. So, I will see you all next time when we actually continue the story. And in fact, we can board the Strahl right here and head out to the Ridorana Cataract immediately. I'll see you next time for that and the Pharos, which is probably going to be a decently long trek. See you all then.